welcome to Geeks of the Round, discusses The Flash, episode 3. Is it only episode 3? It feels like longer. Episode 3, The Things You Cannot Outrun. I'm your host, Matt Moore. We are here with a relatively full panel today. First off, we have our executive producer, Deano Jackson. How you doing, Deano?
Oh, what's up, gang? It's like, this is going to be a fun one, since I normally host the Arrow discussions, and we are slowly but surely getting up onto the big crossover event. Figured I might as well drop in.
Outstanding. And right next to him, we have our community manager, Knuckles. How you doing, Knuckles Goldberg?
Doing good.
Verbose, as always. And then right down at the end, we have Andy Babak. How you doing, Andy?
What up, speedsters?
And wait, if we watch the TV show The Flash, and the people who watch Arrow are Arrowheads, does that mean the people who watch The Flash are Flashers?
No, that I accidentally asked once on my Flash podcast Twitter if we should call ourselves Flashers, and people were like, "You sure about that, buddy?" I was like, deleting tweet.
Didn't think that far ahead.
It sounded better in my head than it did.
Well, dirty things always sound better in the head.
I think we've all been there, Andy.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, let's go with speedsters. That's at least what all my listeners of the podcast calls themselves. So I like speedsters.
Perfect. And next to him we have Charles the Weed Man. How you doing, Charles?
Oh, I'm doing great. It was a pretty good episode. I loved it. The Mist was a pretty cool villain. Yeah. So.
He was probably also on some weed.
Yeah, he was on some weed for that.
And last but not least, we have
Bitch,
Isaiah.
I'm always high.
I know, but you don't share with me. So what's up, man? You never share.
What? I did the people who actually work for Geeks of the Round first, and then I went in alphabetical order. It's not my fault that Isaiah happens to be the last on that list.
There's nothing new. I'm always in the back of the bus. Anyways, folks, yes, the
short bus.
Yeah.
Back of the bus. Yeah, I said it. I'll say it again. You're the driver, Deano, and I'm back in the bus. Ain't that about something? Exactly. Anyways, folks, yes, the logic's back, and the show was meh.
Well, you say meh about almost everything.
Yeah.
We all know Isaiah hates everything.
Yeah.
He has his own hashtag that says that.
Yeah, thanks to you guys.
All right. So first impressions about this episode. We'll go in alphabetical order, starting with Andy. First impressions.
I really enjoyed it, and the thing that I didn't expect to enjoy more was that the whole thing with Caitlin and Ronnie Raymond was really emotional and very compelling to follow. So I actually was kind of lost focus of the Mist, which was the villain of the week. So I was very invested in all those scenes, and I think Daniel Panovich, he really shined in this episode. Daniel Panovich is the one who plays Caitlin, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Who I've seen in a lot of things lately. Apparently, she's done quite a bit of acting.
Justified.
Yeah, she was also just recently in an episode of Franklin and Bash.
Exactly, and apparently she's been on Franklin and Bash, and I didn't realize that it was her. She plays Bonnie on Franklin and Bash.
Correct.
And I saw her in one other thing as well that I saw recently, a movie, but I'm not remembering what it was.
Oh, yeah,
this week was all about her in my viewing. It was kind of
Wait, so who's Bonnie in Franklin and Bash? Because I'm drawing a blank.
She was like I guess she worked for him as like a law intern, and she's now in the most recent episode. She ends up coming back and fighting against him directly, lawyer to lawyer.
Yeah.
And of course loses because it's Franklin and Bash, and they're not allowed to lose.
Of course not. Well, it's like I mostly remember her from. It's like she was in a couple episodes of Bones. Is how
She
I
was on
remember her.
Bones.
Yeah. She was a FBI agent, and for a couple episodes she was working with Sweets when he was still on the show. Kind of a potential love interesty kind of thing there, at least for a couple of episodes.
But in any case, yeah. So it was kind of weird that I just kept seeing her all week this week, and then of course I watched the episode. And in one of them, I remember she wasn't all that sweet. She was actually kind of sexy, so that was kind of weird as well because I'm not used to seeing her that way. But yeah, so impressions, Diano, or no, Charles. Charles is alphabetical order.
Yes. My impressions of the episode were that it was pretty good. The villain, the Mist, was interesting. I kind of understand why he was doing what he was doing. I mean, they killed him and all that kind of stuff. But just whenever he was in his Mist form was probably the best part of the Mist. I mean, when he's in his normal form, I didn't really care for him at all. Not really. And then, of course, with the stuff with Ronnie and Caitlin, that I actually liked quite a bit. And I was actually expecting something at the end of the episode involving Ronnie that apparently didn't happen, and I was disappointed by that.
Just you wait, my friend.
We're going to talk about that right in the end, because I want to do the flashback at the end of our discussion, because flashbacks always complicate things.
Yeah, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Better than the second episode, but not better than the premiere.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Deanna?
Yeah, I kind of agree with most of that, except for the thing about the villain. It's like I actually didn't find him all that compelling at all. I was far more interested in seeing Caitlin Snow's backstory, and of course, finally putting eyes on one half of Firestorm, in the flashback scenes and whatnot. That's kind of what shone for me in this episode was kind of their backstory, and everything else to me was kind of window dressing.
And that is something that has been relatively consistent with the show, is that the bad guys in the show have kind of been there just so they can have a bad guy. I mean, the bad guy is not in any way propelled the story forward.
Although some of them, we've seen two good ones so far. Whatever it wasn't perhaps the best one, but we know where they were coming from, because the Miz wanted to get revenge on that judge and Joe West and that uncle that we saw in the beginning of the episode. Multiplex wanted to get back at Stags because he stole his research. So yes, although I would say this, I would have killed off the Miz, and I would have kept Multiplex. Not only because he's a Firestorm villain, but also he could be better villain in the later future. So, okay. But the effects were cool for the Mist.
Yeah. What did you think, Isaiah?
Oh, me now? Okay. Well, besides killing Snow, that was the only thing that was actually not repetitive. Everything else was just repetitive. The villain was not interesting. He was just a fart. He's just a fart gas dude. Like, okay, you're fart. I get it. You're not just gas. I get it. You're not that interesting.
I already made that joke in the description for this particular hangout.
Well, too bad.
I asked the question, what happens when Barry passes gas?
Yeah, and then what else am I gonna say? Besides, I mean, Caitlin Stone was really cool. I love the backstory and the flashbacks because that was really cool, and pretty much proved that I was right again about that one fake cripple guy. And lastly, Barry Allen gets his ass whipped a lot more times than I thought. Like, goddamn, dude, you got beat up by gas now? Jesus, you're the fastest man alive. Whatever.
I don't know. I kind of kick the ass of my coworkers when I'm at work using gas.
Well, that's nothing new.
Yeah, that's if I eat cereal in the morning because I'm lactose intolerant.
Wow, you're an evil person.
You're welcome. You're welcome, audience, for that information. How about you, Knuckles? What did you think of the episode?
I didn't think it was as terrible as episode 2, and may have been equal or better or just as good as episode 1. I thought it was really interesting how they turned the particle accelerator into like a makeshift prison. I found that a lot more interesting than pretty much anything else in the episode.
I have to agree, actually. My impressions of the episode were it was much better than the second episode. The second episode was okay, but there was a lot of melodrama in it, and that melodrama was completely gone in this. The only real drama in this was, of course, having to do with Caitlin's character and Caitlin's fiance, but that was justified. That was, I mean, your fiance died on you. That makes
I also still feel that the show is just kind of getting its legs, and If there's supposed to be this crossover event with Arrow, I'm looking forward to that because I think it could use the help.
Episode 8.
What's that?
Episode 8 of those shows. Episode 8 of Arrow and episode 8 of Flash will be those crossovers that a week.
Oh, so we have to go through 5 more makeshift films. Okay.
Well, not next week. Next week you're getting something really cold.
Oh, God, here comes Charles.
Yes, we saw the preview.
I didn't see the preview, so I'm good.
All right, so yes, we end up starting out the episode where the Mist kills someone. They come to the conclusion of, hey, you know what? We can't exactly just kill every single metahuman that happens to be bad, because, you know, that would make us bad as well. No, they didn't come to that specific conclusion. That was kind of what was in my head was, you know, if we just start killing these people, even if we don't have to. Yeah.
That's what Joe West said.
And yeah, exactly. And like the second this guy showed up, and the second they realized that this was a metahuman, Joe showed up to Star Labs, and Joe was looking for help. And I think Joe was rather impressed by the setup there.
He was. And also, I'm surprised you got that one funny part in the beginning of the scene. Like the guy was just whatever the guy's name is. He was trying to kill his mafia members. The guy tried to shoot out the glass. No, in fact, it was bulletproof. Like, dude, that's bulletproof. Why are you shooting bulletproof glass? It was still kind of funny.
Well, I don't know if this is like sound according to physics, but if you shoot bullets into bulletproof glass in specific positions, and then if you were to do enough blunt force to it, you could break it.
Well, yes, I mean, there's no such thing as actual bulletproof glass. It's like, I mean, you put enough force into something, it's going to break.
I guess it would be more bullet resistant, not completely bulletproof.
Yeah, that's actually what it's actually called. Like in the real world, it'll be bullet resistant glass. Bulletproof glass is completely fictional.
He said bulletproof, not me. He said it, not me.
So I was actually having that conversation with Knuckles about waterproof. Waterproof is actually a myth. It's water resistant.
I don't believe that.
Exactly. See, me and Knuckles on the same team here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In any case,
I'm on the Isaiah logic train now.
See?
I can't.
Oh man, why are you encouraging him?
Andy out.
So yeah, we of course they kill everybody in the restaurant. That's when they realize, hey, it's a metahuman doing this. Now, of course, Barry has to analyze the poison gas to find out what kind of gas was used. Finds out that he can't find out because apparently it evaporated, and he needs to get an actual sample of the gas. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe shows up to the lab, and Joe's impressed, and that is when Cisco actually has the idea to turn the collider into a prison.
I just kind of laughed at Cisco. I mean, he was still smart. He was cool, but Cisco always was like, so is he the network Cisco or is he just the Cisco? Which one is it? Or is it
I have no idea what he just said.
What?
You know, the network Cisco. You know, like the internet Cisco. You know.
He's making a comparison of the character's name to like the whole internet Cisco thing.
Yeah, like Cisco.
Yeah.
Basically, Isaiah's pretending. He's pretending to be clever.
Why don't you bring up Benjamin Cisco from Deep Space Nine?
Exactly. See, you understand the logic even more. See.
Oh,
What?
Jesus Christ.
And I rest my case. See, look at he's pretending to be clever.
See.
All right, so
So the Flash.
yes, Barry does detective work. Barry then realizes. Sorry, I'm thrown off. That was a whole lot of that was a big old train of stupid.
It's so lame.
Y'all viewers see what we have to put up with, right?
All right, so of course, then the Mist ends up going to kill someone else. That is when Barry does something very, very stupid, gets in a fight with him face to face, specifically to get a lungful of gas, which I think is about as stupid as you can possibly get. Because to get that to where you're going, you have to run. And generally, you have to breathe to be able to run.
We can get a jar. We can get himself a jar.
It's strange how one might think that.
I mean, so I was like, I mean, you think he could have came in with like, I don't know, like a vacuum cleaner or some shit? I mean, this is
Right.
something.
Wait, you were expecting him to run around with it? That would have been so hilarious.
Something.
Something's going.
It would be better than what he actually did. Just kind of show up and be like, I am the Flash. You will cease and desist. You are killing your people now. It's like,
Maybe you have himself a jar, a glass jar. Like, okay, I'm gonna get you in a glass jar now. There you go.
Yeah, that would have made so much more sense. I mean, seriously, later on he ends up running around with the freaking Hydra, whatever they're called, a needle, basically one of those automatic needles. Why couldn't he freaking carry a small vac or jar or some shit?
Or a Ziploc bag, or Glad. Get a Glad bag, dude.
There you go. Isaiah's got to figure it out.
I know, right? You need Isaiah logic to fix everything.
7:21 Pacific Standard Time, October 22nd. Isaiah says something that makes sense.
I know, right? Isaiah logic wins today.
Mark it down. Let me see. That's Joe is talking to Barry. They end up having lunch. I'm jumping around. Sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly how the story goes in order. But and
You're so tired.
What's that?
Nothing.
Hey, Matt, you forgot when Barry actually stopped the criminals from getting away from the police. That was kind of cool.
Stop the. Oh yeah, but that's going to be a pretty common thing.
Yeah, but I
You're
was
talking about when he ran and he gave the knife and the bag back to the woman, as she was being robbed. I did find that kind of amusing, but I think that that's something we're going to see a lot, so I don't see it as a big deal.
I know, but it was still cool to watch.
Okay, and completely worth disrupting the conversation with.
Yeah, you were forgetting things. Don't blame
Shame,
me.
Isaiah.
You were forgetting things. Don't blame the black guy. Blame the other black guy, which is Matt.
All right.
Wait,
And that's when Joe
hold everything.
With Barry. Basically says, hey, we're going to solve your mom's murder together. And then he goes and talks to Barry's dad, whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Henry Allen. Dr. Henry Allen.
Dr. Henry Allen. Are you sure it's Allen and not Pym? Or is that another show?
Was it Wally West?
Does anyone else think that Barry's dad, Henry Allen, looks just stupid and drugged out of his mind in every scene?
Yes.
You do not dish John with his ship, alright?
He does kind of think on drugs.
He's in fucking prison. What do you expect him to do?
Get some drugs, fight some gangs, anything.
I guess you have to pass the time somehow, but...
Yeah, drop the soap. I don't care what he does, just do something.
So that's when he goes and talks to Henry. That's when he tells Henry, you know what, we're going to reopen the case. Henry basically forgives him right then and right there, because while you didn't believe in me, you believed in my son, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no stupid like a decade to actually believe in me? Okay, I forgive you.
I don't think he completely forgave him, but I think that there was some understanding from his side of things, but at the same time, coming now after 14 years saying that, oh, I'm going to get you out, it's, easier said than done. But at the same time, I think that he's starting to forgive him, but not completely yet.
Yeah, I think he has a while to go before he's in complete forgiveness mode.
Right. Like, dude, you're locked in prison forever, so...
Because 14 years, that's a long time, and, to show up that late and be like, oh, I'm going to get you out and everything, and I'm sorry I didn't believe you, that's not something that you just get over one night. So.
Right.
See, this is what we're going to find out, is that, after he's released from jail, you're going to find out that Henry was all like, dude, I was trying to stay in jail. I don't want to be a father. Fuck him.
Right.
We're going to find out that he's a deadbeat dad, and he has been this entire time.
Right. I pay for alimony, too. Like, oh.
Now I have to pay child support for the past 14 years. Fuck.
I'm broke, by the way, so help a brother out. Help me out, dude. You got me in prison. Yeah, get me out. Help me out with the bills. Help me out with the
I
bills.
don't think John Shea would talk like that.
Oh, okay.
You never know. If he does.
So of course, that's when the mist attacks Joe. Henry watches the entire thing, and Henry is now introduced for the second time to the idea of the impossible being possible. And that's when the Flash shows up and stares at his father for a good 3 seconds before he decides to hide his face for like half a second and then turn his head. It's like, hi. Oh, I shouldn't be looking. It's a little late at that point.
That was so ridiculous.
Daddy, Adam knows now that his son is the Flash.
I have to admit, that was cheesy, but I like that cheesy.
That's not my fault at all.
That was some cheesy. That was some good cheesy.
That doesn't look exactly like him. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Of course, that's when he saved Joe using the antidote that they had given him at Star Labs that he was supposed to use on himself. And that's when he actually confronts the Mist. Using his magical "don't be touched by the bad guy" power, which should be his strategy every single time.
Or make a tornado. Anything.
But man, it's an origin story. He has to learn.
He has to learn that I'm faster than you, so you can't touch me.
Right.
Like,
Hey, come on. He was in a coma for 9 months. He's still recovering mentally.
Ooh.
I mean, absolutely every bad guy he fights, he can use that strategy. It doesn't matter. Like, Superman could show up, and Superman could be like, you know what? I don't like how you're doing things. I'm gonna kick your butt, and he'd be like, yeah, try it. Like, oh, you can't touch me. Can't touch me. I think that would be a strategy with everybody.
Yeah, like, don't get your ass kicked, dude. There's more things like avoid punches.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, you kind of have to wonder exactly how he gets hit ever at all.
Exactly.
Right.
Especially since we know. Sorry to bring up something Isaiah had mentioned and I had dismissed earlier. When he was fighting bad guys, you see that he can phase through things. He phased through 2 cars in a row. He went right through the doors. Moved the criminals from one car into the cop car, and then went right through. No doors open that entire time. So he can phase through shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
why isn't he doing that when people are punching him?
because it's called budget.
Oh, okay.
All I do want to say
we saw him do that in the first episode, and we dismissed it. But he did it again in this episode. The whole going through a car door without.
I mean, is he really facing through them, or is he just like opening and closing the door really fast?
It could be both.
that's actually with Knuckles. Like, everyone just did that.
I don't know. That would be. I don't know that you could do that without there being a slamming sound.
Right.
I'm sorry, the car was speeding. How the heck were we supposed to hear a slam?
I
just-
think why it's going to be a standing. It's like, oh, I'm going to get out this car and put you in this cop car, and we're done.
Yeah, that was actually kind of amusing. That was an amusing scene.
I mean, he could be closing it really fast, but also softly, Joe.
Exactly. You see?
Wait. You do understand that makes no sense, right, Knuckles?
Ah. See? He's on the logic train now. He's on the logic
Isaiah,
train.
shut
By
up.
the same token, he had a full-on conversation with what's her name in the last episode, and he didn't yell at her, like it was just a normal conversation.
Yes, it was a normal conversation from his point of view, but actual affecting objects, there would still be a slam sound. It would still create noise, just like his conversation still would have created noise. It would have just been so fast that she would.
You and your technicals.
In any case, we should talk about the tire. Yes, I'm just saying that.
No, let's talk about the gas in the lungs. Like, okay, I need to find the gas
Isaiah,
in the
shut
lungs.
up.
What are we going to do now? Oh,
I
that's
feel
right.
like Isaiah's
Come
becoming
on, guys. I want to talk about the tire again.
I want to talk about the shoe prints. I want to talk about the shoes.
All right, so of course he ends up taking down the Mist, basically by outrunning the Mist.
Whoa.
And then when the Mist could no longer turn into Mist, punch
He
him.
got He literally got tired. Like, dude, really? You're the fucking Mist. How do you get tired? Never mind. I forgot. You used to be dead. Now you're alive. Matter of fact, that was a good. Actually, Charles said something that was actually interesting. He said people put him on death row. He was in a gas chamber. Okay, he should have been dead, not alive. So, yeah, who does gas chambers nowadays? I know it's rare.
It's called a comic book TV show.
Yeah, but you have to have logic in a comic book show.
It's just what I thought was confusing is that who the hell uses gas chambers or even the electric chair anymore?
He just said that, Charles. He literally just said that.
It's all about lethal injection.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. See, he's repeating the same thing I'm saying. Why are you using gas chambers? It doesn't make enough sense.
Then again, I'm gonna have to agree with Andy that this is a comic book show and it's not really relevant.
No. You agree with me. So don't go to Andy's side. You agree with me. You say on this side, motherfucker. On this side.
I'm sorry, Vanilla is with me.
I'm on no one's side, bitch.
Yes, you are, bitch. You're my bitch, bitch.
Diana, how you doing?
Now let's get to the what we really want to talk about, and that is at least what I really want to talk about, and that's the flashback. We get Caitlyn's story. Of course, we see the infamous night in which the reactor blew.
Right.
And we have Andy. What's her fiance's name again?
Ronnie Raymond, one half of Firestone from the comic books.
And
played by Robbie Amell, who is the cousin of Arrow's Stephen Amell,
who is also the star. Was the star of the Tomorrow People.
No.
One of the shows that I backed quite a bit.
I'm
finally went away.
That finale was so frustrating. But I'm glad he's finally part of the DC universe. He's a huge comic book fan. He's always wanted to be part of the DC universe, so I'm happy that he's finally part of it.
Cool. But yeah, so we end up seeing the story of the whole night from their point of view. We see the incoming storm. We see Cisco. Cisco doesn't have as big a smile on his face as he normally does. For some reason, in the current version of him, he always has a grin, like he's been hanging out with Charles the Weed Man here.
Exactly.
I think he's hiding. I think he's hiding his his sad side.
No, his emotions on the other side of the track. That's how it happens. It's on the other side of the track. Is that right, Charles?
I don't.
But no, I seriously, he acts like he's high all the time.
Right.
Except in the flashback. In the flashback, he didn't seem like he was high. He didn't have the.
Hey, you better give my boy some respect. I love Cisco Ramon.
Hey, and once he got the whole over the track motion with Whedon, he was happy again. Like, yes, I'm happy, son. All right, now back to the story.
Like maybe he really had a thing for Caitlyn, and the fact that her fiance was dead is why he always has a shit-eating grin on his face.
Right. Like, score.
I look. Well, Cisco and Kane, they're basically the Fitzsimmons of Flash.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Minus accents.
But in any case, so we see the story, we see how everything ends up going wrong. We see everyone reacting to things going wrong. And, of course, that goes all the way across the board. Everyone seems surprised by these turn of events. And that is when Cisco and Ronnie end up going to the reactor, or the middle of the reactor, or whatever, to fix things. And for some reason, Ronnie volunteers to go in.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one who built the thing. What do you mean for some reason?
What's that?
He's the only one that had the potential of fixing it. He's the one that was there building it.
Well, I mean, Cisco
there's no for some
would know that kind of stuff too, wouldn't he?
He knows the technical stuff on how it works, the mathematics behind it and whatnot, how it functions, how to actually assemble it. That's not his department.
Right, but wouldn't that be like he should have robots for that? Like, because it's so dangerous out there. Like, I should get a robot to actually do this for me. Oh, we're not gonna do that.
I mean, didn't he just kind of like sit back against the door that he walked through and just kind of sat there until it was over?
That was his career.
No, so supposedly he went and fixed everything so it would vent upwards, and then he came back to the door to find it closed.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Is in every other TV show, Cisco would have waited.
Right.
Like Cisco would have been like, okay, my 2 minutes are up, but I really want this guy to come back. I don't want to have to press this button. Oh, woe is me. Like, should I press it? Should I not press? He's all like, oh, what? 2 minutes up. Close the door.
Yeah, that was
You
like.
kind of didn't have a choice. At that point, it was either, okay, this guy that I really, really like is going to die, or all of us are going to die. Well, yeah, all of us and everyone in the immediate vicinity, them too.
And that makes sense logically, but like in every other show, and I think even me in real life, I'd be struggling with that decision.
I think he hit the button like 5 seconds early, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, it's like, okay, if he dies, I can have Caitlin Snow. Okay, let's press the button now.
Did you just say Caitlin Snow?
Yes.
All right. So apparently Isaiah is discussing Game of Thrones while we're discussing The Flash.
Hey, Game of Thrones is
Ka-
awesome.
wait, isn't her
Wait,
name
Her name
Caitlin
is Caitlin Snow, dude.
Ooh.
Her name is Dr. Caitlin Snow.
Ooh.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry.
Okay, you're thinking Caitlin Stark. Her last name
thank you.
For the love of God, you need to learn to keep the names of
Wow.
the characters on the show.
Ooh,
All right,
Isaiah
I
Logic.
admit it. I messed up. At least I admit it, and I don't blame it on Matt Logic.
Hey, Isaiah
I
Logic.
don't just make stuff up and be like,
Because-
oh, that totally makes sense. No,
Well,
I
because you
okay.
because you said Mad Logic, now it exists. So
No.
thank you.
No, it just
And Andy is rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, he said Mad Logic.
However, Isaiah Logic always wins, folks. Yes.
Shut,
it always-
Isaiah, shut up, Isaiah.
You know it's true, guys. It always wins. Just ask them.
You're becoming the Meg of this group, like you know.
Yes, you so are.
Okay, so who's Brian the drunk? Charles?
No, that's absolutely me.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm Brian.
No, you're big guy.
You don't drink enough, dude.
Well, that's some of that. That's good.
Wait, who?
But in any
I'm
case,
not-
Anyways,
The hell, I'm not Lois.
we end up
that's
seeing what's his face die. We see Ronnie die. We know that he's going to become Firestorm. But we don't actually see him become Firestorm. First off, do we think we're going to see Firestorm next episode?
No.
No.
And also, they were dropping a lot of indie
So
windows
what-
too.
Towards the end of the first half of the season.
All right, Isaiah, you said that we missed one more thing. If it's something stupid, I will mute you for the rest of the hangout.
Okay, remember when Caitlin Snow was talking about like indie windows, like, oh, my husband's like fire and I'm like ice, like, you know, because her character in comics is like Frost and he's like Firestorm, fire and ice. That's an indie window joke. Like, we get it. We all
It's
get
not innuendo joke. It's an Easter egg. You.
it. Innuendo joke. Thank you.
Dude, I don't think you know what innuendo means.
Like,
Like, you very clearly don't know what innuendo means.
Or does he?
see,
Matt,
thank
Matt,
you,
Matt.
Marcus.
It's
Matt,
in her window.
Exactly.
What the
That's Matt Logic.
Yeah.
No, Isaiah Logic. Don't take my
Well,
logic.
Did anyone else?
That was an Easter egg, not an
So,
innuendo.
innuendo? Come on, it was innuendo joke. Come on.
Did anyone else expect that guy to like come out from the door when they opened it for the first time?
No.
No.
Actually, I did have that idea that maybe that would end up happening.
He's not
I
Dr.
don't-
Manhattan.
To be fair to myself, is like the only reason is like if I didn't know who he was, I would have probably expected that. But because I do, I did not expect that at all.
Right.
It's too early. That's at this point not possible.
Yeah, he's not Dr. Manhattan yet.
All right. All right. Wild speculations. Kick it off, Andy.
Iris and Eddie will break up with before the first half of the season is over.
Ooh,
Okay.
really?
Really.
That's out of the blue, but I like it.
That's how I am, sassy and out of the blue.
All right.
If you say so.
Charles, did you have a wild speculation, and did you forget it already?
I didn't have one originally, but I think I'm developing one right now.
Oh dear God.
Do you have enough of one to actually vocalize it, or should we come back to you?
Well, the thing I think what might happen is that Caitlin Snow also has the potential to become Killer Frost. To be honest, I I'm not sure if Caitlin Snow is going to become Killer Frost at all this season.
No, not this season at all. I think it will be
I highly doubt it. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what would cause her to become Killer Frost.
an accident, just like in the
Well, no,
comics.
no, I know that. I know how she becomes Killer Frost, but I don't know what would drive her to become a villain.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Her dead boyfriend rising from the dead to become a villain?
Yeah, like Dr. Manhattan.
I was gonna say that does remind me though. I did miss one scene that's kind of important, and that's the scene in which Doctor blah blah blah.
Harrison Wells.
Thank you, Dr. Harrison Wells. Sorry, I've been tired all night. Dr. Harrison Wells ends up going into the room again and basically checking out his little hologram thing, showing basically that he knew that that Barry was going to become the Flash before he became the Flash, which we kind of theorized, but we didn't know for 100%
Well,
sure.
we know at this point that he is from the future, and the only question though is he good or is he bad?
Yeah.
I'm not ready
Well,
to say that yet.
Okay. I was just going to say one thing real quickly. I do have a little bit of speculation about Wells. I think he might be an older version of Barry Allen.
I don't see it.
I can see that.
I actually was thinking the same thing. Kind of, they're going like what happened in Sucker Punch's Infamous back on the PlayStation 3, where the main villain there was the protagonist from the future. I kind of thought it is potential that they're going the same way. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's not even a very good chance of that being the case, but that was kind of my wild speculation as well.
The funny thing though is that right now in the comic books in the New 52, that is actually the current arc in the Flash comics, and they're just about to wrap it up. So, it's always a possibility, but I don't think he's Barry Allen. I think right now I look at him as an anti-hero. He wants to do good, but he does it in his own twisted ways.
You know what might be actually kind of amusing to follow up on that is when we end up having him. You see the newspaper in which the Flash disappears into time, supposedly. Maybe that's where he reappears, is in the past.
Do you think he's betting on sports to fuel his research?
No, this is not Back to the Future.
Now I just want to watch Back to the Future, but because he said that, I need to get the Blu-rays.
But let me see. Deanna, do you have well, I mean, you kind of were saying that was your wild speculation. Do you have more on that?
No, like I think Charles actually explained it pretty well. It's like where my thinking is at this particular point. It probably won't pan out to anything, but that's the entire point of wild speculation, is to speculate wildly. So.
How about the only person left who's sane on this panel, Knuckles? What is your wild speculation?
Isaiah will be right again next week.
That is some wild speculation. Oh, you just blew Charles and me completely out of the water. It's like, Charles, I thought we said like the most bizarre, out there, most infinitesimal chance of happening thing that anybody could ever do, and Knuckles just that killed it, man. That killed it. Compared to that, our wild speculations all of a sudden looking pretty fucking likely.
All right, let's go with the
spoilers leaked on the internet. I had to say.
Yeah, let's go with the crazy person, the crazy man, Isaiah Mullins. What is your wild speculation?
Now, for the real speculation,
No, your real wild speculation. I don't want to
real one. My real one was 10 times better than Charles and Deanna's like push cakes speculation. Okay, here's mine. Okay, Dr. Wells. He's a reverse Flash. He's the bad guy, for God's sakes. You know who he is. He's like, come on.
No, we don't.
He's the bad guy. He's been killing. He caused everything. He caused those deaths. He caused that person to die. He caused everything in his own path. And who did that? All right, Reverse Flash. He's been doing this before in the comic books as well. He's been always doing that to Barry.
Yeah.
You know it's true, and don't play it.
No.
You know it's true. You know it's true.
No, that's a fair speculation. Is like the only reason why I don't think that's the case, or at least why I hope that's not the case, is because that is completely and totally too fucking obvious.
That's the point.
It's like,
It's gonna be
please
obvious.
don't let them do that.
It's gonna be obvious. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be right.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna be right. Bitches.
Oh, for the love of
Uh-huh.
everything that is like true and right, please don't let Isaiah be right.
I'm gonna be right.
I only have one wild speculation, and like always, like mine normally are, it's not all that wild. And that is, since we know that we're going to see Felicity next week, I think she's actually going to go on a date with Barry.
Whoa.
And I think that's when she's going to realize that Barry has a crush, and kind of leave it at that.
Well, there's that trailer, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking
the
of
whole,
trailer,
the,
speaking
the
of
whole,
trailer, Avengers 2 trailer is out.
yeah.
Well,
We were talking about it beforehand, but it's out.
Yeah.
It was so
Yeah,
awesome.
the full trailer is out, and you can see it on geeksofaround.com.
Geeksofaround.com. Tell me about geeksofaround.com.
Well, it turns out on geeksofaround.com we do all sorts of discussions, we post news, and we have all sorts of fun polls and all sorts of madness, so people should definitely come check it out.
And then while you're doing that, while you're watching the videos, you should just like and subscribe and all that other fun stuff here. And yeah, so do that.
And you can do it all for just $9.99.
No, it's $99, $9.99, $95.
Oh, okay.
okay, fuck no deal.
But you know what? But for you, we do for free.
I was gonna say, you know
because
what we're gonna do is whatever Google charges, we'll double that. We'll double whatever Google charges. Let's see, 2 times 0. Oh, fuck. All right. So, Andy, very quickly, tell us the stuff you do.
TheFlashPodcast.com. Check it out.
Perfect. Isaiah, tell us the stuff you do.
Isaiah's Zone, bitches.
Isaiah's Own Bitches? Is that Isaiah'sOwnBitches.com?
Hey, I wish that was it. I wish that was.
That sounds like a porn site.
Hey, that'd be awesome.
This is
Oh, that was a good one.
All right. Yeah, and of course, geeksaround.com, as we've mentioned 18 times already. YouTube.com/geeks.
Hey, Matt.
What?
What the hell is Geeks Around?
You are suspended a hangout.
Well, that's the first time ever.
Yeah, and then check us out there. And I was your host, Matt Moore, and panel, say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, bitches.